Hollywood, in yet another attempt to oblige my generation, has decided to make every emo kid's fan fiction wet dream by taking something really classic that everybody loved and just deep fist The Crow was directed by Rupert Sanders and stars Bill Skarsgård in the leading titular role. And I'm sorry, I have to preface this up front. I'm sorry, it's not a remake of the original one. It's a retelling of the graphic novel, just retold in a way that makes you want to go to self-checkout and rage quit life. Our lead protagonist falls in love with a woman. They have this brief night together in which they are both killed, but because his soul cannot rest, the Crow, which takes all souls to the afterlife, sends him back as an immortal being to seek revenge and right the wrongs in the real world, which leads to a vengeful and bloody trail. This movie is a lot like the 1950s. It's a really, sounds like an idea on paper that'd be great to bring back and remake until you really think about how fucked up it is and how many beatings there would be. I think the biggest crime this movie commits is its attempts at being modern and deep and trying to add extra fluff to a story that doesn't need it. The original film from the 90s executed this premise so clearly, cold cut, and to the point that you got behind it and understood. This one spends so much time wasting time by trying to build backstories and stuff, and the problem is all the time it spends trying to tell this in a new and original linear way, you don't really care. You still don't like the characters, and Bill Skarsgård's character is just still very just bland. You don't care about his motivations. I never cared about his character or his girlfriend or anything. It's like, oh, your girlfriend died, stop crying, you wuss. And the production quality on here is so cheap for everything involved. It looks like Halloween costumes, and then somehow CW decided to make something but was allowed to make more gore in it. Like in this movie, oh, he comes back. He remembers, he dismembers, unmembers, unalive members, dismembers every member of these criminals. And for what it's worth, I think those two categories probably are the best parts. I think the villain in here is pretty good. He does his job. He delivers a performance, which is exactly what you'd expect. And the action is surprisingly satisfying. Particularly in the third act, I think they kind of up it a little bit. And I was like, damn, there were some creative kills in here that I got excited about. And I like some of the stuff they did with his character in those fights and finding ways that felt cool. But at the same time, a lot of the gore in here doesn't feel necessary. The gore is put in here because they can do CGI gore. There's no real story reason for it. It doesn't help in any way with the artistry. The movie tries to feel more artsy too than it has any right to be. It really thinks it's doing something here. It thinks it's a better film than it is, but naturally it is some of the cringiest dialogue and performances I've ever seen, including from Bill Skarsgård. He is so angsty middle school in here. Like, this whole thing feels like middle school fan fiction from the worst emo kid. Its attempts at being dark and gritty and sinister and evil all just come across as very try-hard and underwhelming. At no point in this movie did I ever feel like this was some meaningful metaphorical film. It's pathetic, to be honest. I've seen student films better than this. This is just genuinely a terrible film. The soundtrack is awful. The cinematography is abysmal. The performances are laughable when they're at their best. And I know this is a random thing to focus on. This is some of the worst set design and set lighting I've seen in a film for a film made in 2024. This film is just awful. And it's reached that sad point where it's so bad it's good, in the sense that this movie committed the abysmal crime of having me laugh out loud at it, like at scenes that were supposed to be serious. Overall, the film is just bad. From start to finish, it is boring, which is the biggest crime, and it's laughable. It's just an abysmal train wreck. It's literally just the execution, the public, humiliating execution of a brilliant story which was put to waste by tons of people who seem like they've never read the source a day in their lives. do not watch this movie until it comes out on streaming. Then I want you to get a bunch of alcohol and watch this while you're drunk, and I guarantee it'll be the best experience of your life. That is how you do it, when it doesn't really cost anything and it's already on a streaming service that you get for free. This is one of the best, worst movies I've ever seen. It's a train wreck. Hollywood should be ashamed of themselves for making it, and genuinely should reconsider their own life choices and probably everything else about themselves. I'm going to give The Crow 2024 a 1 out of 10. So thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you all next time.